power, pipelines, communications, water, and transportation. Chinese hackers have burrowed deep into these systems. We're being told this by the FBI. Now, the FBI Director Wray was giving a speech yesterday at Vanderbilt University, and where he said this, that the Chinese are waiting, according to the FBI Director, quote, for just the right moment to deal a devastating blow. Friends, we're being warned about what is going to happen. We're being told by the deep state what is going to happen. And friends, it is probably going to happen. We need to be getting prepared. Let's talk about it. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we're covering things on this channel that are not being covered on the mainstream media. This is important stuff. If you're not prepared, by the time this happens, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And a lot of Americans are, because this is going to be an attack directly on the American people. So, what do we have to talk about here? Well, the Chinese hacker group Volt Typhoon. Now, they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar already. They were trying to infiltrate water systems, infrastructure, and communication systems linking the United States to our territory in Guam. Now, Guam, as some people refer to it as the unsinkable aircraft carrier, right? It's an island out in the Pacific, in the Western Pacific, out towards China and the Philippines. It is a major air base that U.S. long-range bombers have access to. Troops are stationed there. And, of course, there's a civilian population of American citizens that live there as well. The United States has threatened to attack the island directly if the United States gets involved in a conflict between China and Taiwan. Chinese hackers, Volt Typhoon, were attempting, not just attempting, but they actually got inside the systems, the communication systems that link the United States to Guam, as well as they were attacking water systems, as well as like power systems inside Guam, with the attempt to be able to take down their infrastructure so that the troops as well as the civilians on the island would be ineffective in any assistance to Taiwan. Now, they were burrowed deep, waiting and not actually attacking, but rather just burrowing deeper and deeper and deeper. So once you get into a system, as a hacker, you can start getting administrative privileges, logins. Once you can get into these systems, you can plant back doors into these systems so that even if the logins all get changed, you can still get into the system and continue to do the nefarious things that you want to do. Or if you're like the Volt Typhoon folks, they haven't really done anything except just get more access. And the question is what are they waiting for? Why didn't they download information and try to ransom? Or why didn't they lock up these computers and try to get ransom? If they're just in it for the money, why didn't they just go that route? And the answer to that is probably that Volt Typhoon is probably affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party. That they are probably a military unit or a civilian unit that works for the Chinese Communist Party in order to attack the United States digitally. And we're seeing that it's not just on the island of Guam, but now we're being told by the FBI, whose full-time job it is to do political prosecutions, but part-time job to protect the United States from digital attacks, right? So they are somewhat an authority on this issue. They're much more of an authority on political prosecutions, but that's a whole nother thing. But we're being told by them that now the target is not just the island of Guam, but the continental United States to inspire, here's a quote, seeking the, quote, the ability to physically wreak havoc on our critical infrastructure at a time of its choosing. And he then said, to try to induce panic. Friends, I don't know how many folks you know, but how do you think Americans generally would respond to losing water to their home and power? And when they dial on their cell phone, they don't get any signal. When they try to reach out to the internet through their cell phone or through their home routers, they don't reach the internet. How do you think the vast majority of Americans would respond? How do you think the downtown city areas in the United States would respond to not having information, not having water, and not having power? Panic? I don't think they'd be trying to induce panic. I think that would absolutely induce panic. I think people would freaking lose their minds here in the United States because people are not prepared for that. They're prepared to be dependent upon the government. If anything goes wrong with the government-supplied water from their pipes, they expect the government to provide water at their city hall or one of these distribution sites. They expect the government to take care of them. They expect the water company to provide water. They expect the power company to always provide power. People will literally die if the power goes out. And we see that every time. People who are on, have medical equipment in their home, people who depend on all these things for communications, people are highly, highly dependent. And we need to be not dependent upon exterior forces, exterior things. If your power is coming from hundreds of miles away or even thousands of miles away, should you really be reliant upon that? If your water is coming from, 100 miles away or dozens of miles away, should you really count on that always being there? We take so many things for granted. And I keep saying this, and I'll keep saying it. In the opening of a world war, or even a hot war between us and China or us and Russia, how long do you really think the internet's going to last? We are an open society. It is so easy to take down things. We've seen very clearly how easy it is to take down the U.S. power grid. Just several dozen people inside the United States with nefarious intent can absolutely take down the U.S. power grid. We've seen that demonstrated and practiced at some points with attacks on transformers. And nobody ever seems to get caught doing these things. We can see tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people plunged into darkness because somebody attacked some transformers. Nobody's ever been prosecuted. This is stuff that is not hard to do technically. You can get access to the tools that you need here in the United States, and there are plenty of nefarious actors here in the United States, whether you do it yourself or whether you hire somebody to do it for you. I mean, there are so many people in the United States desperate for money who aren't here, they haven't been invited to come here, and yet they showed up anyway. We don't know who they are. We have hundreds of thousands of Chinese citizens that have served in the Chinese military are now here, and they weren't invited. They just came in. We have millions and millions of Chinese citizens here in the United States. Some, with permission, some without permission. Many of them, most of them, are card-carrying members of the Chinese Communist Party. And yet they're here. Do we have millions of Americans over in China? No, we don't. We maybe have thousands. And all of them are being closely watched, and they're in highly concentrated areas in industrial cities and with universities and stuff like that. They are being watched. They're being digitally tracked. We have no idea who's here in the United States. We can't even come up with a number of how many people are here in the United States. We are open to attack. And I know FBI Director Christopher Wray has made it his life's goal to attack legal Americans in order to further a political agenda. But he needs to be reminded that his job is supposed to be to protect the United States from foreign attackers and to protect Americans from being attacked physically, technologically, from people inside the United States and outside. The FBI is supposed to protect us, but instead they're only using it to attack us. But even a broken clock is right sometimes, right? And in this case, the FBI director actually doing his job, which is warning us of the fact that they've detected many intrusions into critical infrastructure here in the United States. Friends, a storm comes in and you say, we might lose power, and you make preparations. You see a hurricane on the forecast coming your way, and you say, let's stock up on water. Let's get power. Friends, there is a storm coming from China towards all of us in the continental United States and Canada. And this is not just the United States, but we're seeing similar things in the UK, seeing similar things in Australia. We see Volt Typhoon is burrowing deep into infrastructure in a whole host of countries like New Zealand and Australia particularly, right? And so they are getting ready to flip the switch. They're going to flip the switch and the lights are going to go out. So if you prepare when there's a hurricane coming in, what about when there's a World War III coming in? Should we not prepare for that? If you say the hurricane is going to impact a small area and then we're going to have power back on and infrastructure back in within a couple weeks, and we say let's get ready for a couple weeks, how much should you prepare for potentially the entire United States getting knocked out and infrastructure being down for months potentially or even longer? Should you be preparing for that? And the answer is absolutely yes. If you're not preparing for that, you're just not paying attention. We have people out there talking about how they're woke, right? Well, they're not woke when it comes to the problems of what's happening internationally. They're not woke when it comes to, they're not awake to the things of reality around them. Sure, the men want to put on the dresses and they want to parade around and wear pretty colors and stuff like that. And they call themselves woke, right? Because they're awake to this reality of, I don't know, whatever, this craziness. But they're not awake to the reality of how much danger we're in. We need a different kind of woke. We need a different kind of awake. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but the question for you is, if you saw a hurricane coming in, how would you prepare if you were on the coast? If we have a storm coming in that's potentially much, much worse, and it's not that this is some hypothetical. These organizations, these like Volt Typhoon, are in the systems already. The FBI is admitting that they're already in. And the FBI and the other agencies are trying to get them out. And while they're in there, they are fully capable of flipping the switch off. And we've seen that the Chinese have gotten into outer connections, you often have like a public-facing like website and public-facing servers that host public information for like power plants and such, and then you have like an internal network. And we've seen reports already where Chinese hackers have fully infiltrated the public siding website and such, but they've been desperately trying to cross over through the portals to get into the intranet inside these power plants, inside these pipelines. And FBI Director Wray has just said that they are inside these systems of pipelines, power, water, communications. Friends, all it takes is the Chinese just giving the order for them to flip the switch. And do you see the United States and China kind of going at it? The United States may be able to do something similar to the Chinese, but doesn't really matter. The only question is whether the Chinese will choose to do it to us. And if they start trying to take Taiwan, and the United States starts getting out, getting ready, or sending ships or whatever, the Chinese may just flip that switch. And the United States may never recover from that because a lot of these systems are interdependent. The pipelines require electricity in order to pump the pipelines. But the electric grid depends on the pipelines to feed the power plants. Kind of circular, isn't it? You need the power in order to run the pipelines, but you need the pipelines in order to run the power. That's a problem. When you have transformers go out, when you have power grid issues that are physical, you need the communications network up in order to find out where the workers need to be dispatched to. And you need power up in order for people to pump gas or diesel at pump stations into their vehicles so that the workers can get to the sites that need to be repaired. So you need the communication systems, you need the fuel systems and the pipelines feeding into those fuel systems in order for workers to get to repair the power systems. So you see how interrelated all of these things are. What happens when a worker knows that his family doesn't have water, doesn't have power, doesn't have communications at home? Is he going to still hop in his truck and drive off and go do his duty to repair power lines and everything like that? And yeah, I said he because the vast majority of line workers are dudes. I mean, I know it's politically incorrect to say that, but that's just a simple fact. And so, is he going to leave his family when they're scared, in the dark, and without water? Or is he going to stay home and provide for his family? You're going to find some workers are going to stay home. And if they don't go to work to go fix the lines, well, then the system won't get repaired. And the longer the system is down, the harder it is to get it back up again. So friends, think long and hard. Are you getting prepared? Because this is going to happen. It's not an if, it's a when. And that when is probably getting closer and closer every day. Do what you can. Every day, take practical steps to get yourself and your family more prepared. If you're prepared, well, then take steps to get your community more prepared. Doing things every day to become more self-sufficient or more resilient to problems out there. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.